all the time.
Aromagees Botanica, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and spirit. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals, teas, handmade soaps, tarot cards, everything you need on your magical journey. Daily psychic and tarot readings, classes, witchcraft, pagan, and hoodoo supplies, most of it made in-house. Try our free Dress Your Own candle station. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical products in all of Tennessee since 1999. It is our goal to inspire everyone to explore their spirituality in their own way by offering information and products in a nurturing multicultural environment. Open 7 days a week. 223 Donaldson Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, or visit us online at aromagees.com.
Witch College. Learn anything, anytime, anywhere education. witchcollege.co.
Greetings, all my magical beings out there. It is 1 o'clock and it is time for Witchy Wednesdays at 1. Yay! Today, I have the privilege of welcoming Sandra Piergossi, who is
Sabrina. Sorry.
Oh, Sabrina. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Sabrina,
please don't worry.
Sabrina Piergossi, who is a beautiful coach for other coaches, and is across the pond in the UK. So welcome. And I know the hours are way different, so thank you so much for making yourself available to do this interview today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, very much my pleasure to offer a forum for people of like mind to share their talents and skills and the mission that Spirit has called them into, right? I think for people who are new on the path, it is a confirmation that they are not alone or as weird as they think they might be. And then, you know, even those of us who have been on this path for a minute, if we aren't continually exposing ourselves to new thoughts and ideas and processes, then we too get sort of stuck going around in circles and never really achieving our highest purpose. So always my pleasure to welcome someone who is walking in right way. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into your particular modality?
Sure. So I'm originally half Italian, half North American, believe it or not.
Oh,
My mum's American from your side of the pond.
gotcha.
My dad's Italian. I grew up in Milan, Italy, and then I ended up in the UK. So I live in the UK now on the sea in Brighton and Hove, which I love because it's a real, it's a place with a lot of like-minded souls, very, very open-minded, full of people on this path and full of artists and creatives. So
That's wonderful.
I love my life here. And I'm a counseling psychologist. I got on this path because from when I was little, I was always seeking, I was looking at the stars. I was looking at the stars and sort of sensing that I came from there, or trying to understand how it all, the meaning of all of this that we have here. And I was
Sure.
always fascinated by both nature and humans and this connection to spirit. I always had this strong connection from the beginning. And so I realized that everything I've done along my path has really been an attempt to put all these things together. And I went into the psychology route, which I loved, which I'm so glad I was able to do that, because I felt like I was able to really understand trauma and the psyche and the body and the mind and the heart and how it all goes together. So super grateful for that. And I was already interested in meditation, and I was getting into mind body stuff because I got sick at 17. So I got onto this path early on. I got very sick with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, like a very severe form, before anybody even knew what any of this was.
Right.
And I could hardly walk, and then I started healing myself. I tried every single modality. I kept seeking. I got to a place where I was managing, and then I was helping other people with mental health issues. And I got to the place where I was like, there's got to be more. It's got to be more than just helping people manage.
Yes.
Including myself.
Yeah.
So that's always, I'm a true wounded healer, originally, in the sense that I've always been on this path to try and figure out how to help myself even better. But then because I was helping people in mental health, I realized this isn't enough. The tools that I have aren't enough.
Right.
And so I kept going, and I found out about energy work and how to bring that in with psychology. And there's a whole thriving group of psychologists out there, not that many, but they are there.
They're growing.
Psychologists, they're growing, who are putting all this stuff together. And then I got a calling to become a shaman, and I went deeper into the path of bridging this so-called reality with non-ordinary reality.
Right.
And I just discovered I could be well. And I was like, wow, I don't need to be sick. So I kept going, and that's what's been driving me. It's like how to step fully into our power and how to honor all parts of being human, while also realizing we're incredibly powerful creators. It's like this really interesting, at times apparently contradictory aspects of our being, if that makes
sense. It makes perfect sense. And actually the contradictory part is the part that we adopt through the beliefs and opinions of others, right? Our family, society, religious organizations, and we become ill physically because we are out of resonance with our soul, with that part of ourself that recognizes that we are well and joyful and abundant. But we adopt beliefs that are contrary to that inner knowing. And so I think one of the things that is really happening right now as part of the awakening, right, the grand awakening of the age of Aquarius, is that we are putting these puzzle pieces together from both the 3D linear experience of being human, as well as this 5D ethereal place that our soul intrinsically knows how to connect to, right?
Completely. I love how you put it. 100%. And I love that I really feel like we're in bridging times. I find these times incredibly exciting, and it's not to underestimate how incredibly challenging they are to the human in us.
Yes.
It's both. It's massively, massively challenging. And any of us who are empathic and sensitive and intuitive, which I would consider myself that, I consider probably everyone I cross paths with that.
Right.
And probably everyone who's watching you would identify with that. It's like wow, like we're feeling a lot, right? We're feeling a lot of it potentially. And we're also bridges. So I feel like we're often bridging between timelines. I find myself in the 5D timelines, like where I'm really witnessing how instant manifestation is more and more and more right now, and how
Yes.
effortless it can be. And then I'm also bridging to the timelines where I'm seeing the collective suffering, or I'm helping people work through all those things that have constricted us down, right? To, like you said, like made us lose touch with our true essence. And so I feel like we're clearing out all the stuff that wasn't really us, and like we're putting together all the pieces. And it was always there. It's not like we have to go and get it somewhere else. It's already in us. But it's finding the way to, I don't know what
Clear
word
through
to
the
use.
morass.
Yes, thank you for translating my hands. There's a lot to clear through.
I have actually found recently that if I, at the end of the evening, as part of my gratitude practice, if I actually speak to that, I am sending away from me any negative energies that I may have picked up along my path today, and calling back all parts of myself that I may have inadvertently given away, so that I may sleep in peace and power this evening and wake my true self, right?
That's really powerful and essential practice for these times.
Oh, absolutely. Too easy to hop on the bus of so many things happening in our society because they scream for attention. But when we are in discord with our soul, it is screaming as well. And that's where the discomfort comes from. Is not listening to that inner scream over the outer scream, right?
And that's where the discomfort is the medicine. It's like, I always like to say, what's in the way is the way. So all the stuff that we think, oh, if only that wasn't there, if only I wasn't feeling that, if only actually, but those are pointing the way. Those are the symptoms, are also pointing the way to what needs to be heard and reintegrated. And one of the things I love is understanding that we're many parts. We're not just one person. Like there's so many multiple parts inside us, and this feels like that. This is the human piece of the journey. It's how we can bring home with us on this path as we cross the bridge to this reality that I believe we're co-creating. We need to bring all the parts with us that have been suppressed, ignored, bypassed, couldn't be there because we couldn't survive in our family of origin with them fully alive. So I feel like we're reclaiming our parts, and I think we're doing this not just individually, but I think this is what humanity's doing as a whole. So it looks like it's all falling apart, but I don't think it is. I think it's actually all coming together. We're having to really face all of our shadow as humanity.
There is no better way through hell than the straight path, right? Once you're in, just keep going.
Yeah, you can't go back anyway, so you just gotta.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people do find that when they step a toe into that work and jerk back, their symptoms often become worse. Because there was a moment of hope happening there, and then you snatched it up and squashed it like a bug, right?
Yeah, totally.
So
it's hard to keep going though if we're not supported by others. We don't feel like we're going crazy with it all as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things that you were mentioning earlier about being in geographically in a location where you are surrounded by a lot of other people who are awake, right? Who are following this path and who are willing to do the shadow work and the integration work to become active co-creators of their reality, as opposed to speaking to the problem and co-creating the perpetuation of the problem, right?
Yes.
We become aware that our thoughts and words and actions have far more power than we ever knew. And when we become intentional with those thoughts, words, and actions, is when we begin to realize the gifts that were available to us all along.
That's beautiful.
So, well, let's see. You said that you found your path initially because of this illness, fibromyalgia. And now you are offering modalities of healing to other people. So if I were to reach out to you and want to explore the kinds of sessions that you are offering to people, can you give us a little bit of an idea what that might look like?
Yes, absolutely. So I work both one-to-one and in groups. And the one-to-one work they all go really deep. It was lovely. There's lots of pros and cons to both, but one-to-one, you're able to like be really seen in terms of, there's a lot of integration that I do of lots of different modalities that I've learned along the path. And what I've put together, I call New Earth Alchemy now, is the approach, which is all about how we integrate our human and all the trauma that we're carrying, that we're needing help with healing, that is being triggered left, right, and center because it's a gift to help us reunite with our true self, with our amazing creator self, and fully owning how to use that consciously. So the work looks a lot like, my sessions are an hour and a half. We can devise a package together of how long the person needs. Some people come for a really long time. Some people come for like 3 months. It really depends on the individual, what they need. So I love to just go with the flow of what they need. And a lot can be done in one session, but equally, I love working with people over longer periods because more tends to come to the surface and peel off, as you probably know in your own journey.
Sure, absolutely.
And so a lot of it looks like regular talking therapy in the beginning, in terms of having a space to be really heard and held. And we identify the different parts and aspects that are coming on board that need help. And then I use muscle testing. So I use muscle testing at a distance. This is my muscle test yes, muscle test no. And I tune into the field of the person. And I have a whole bunch of things I might ask to find out what needs clearing. So let's say that you come and you have a particular intention about how you want to feel or what you want to create in your life. We identify that. And then basically through the muscle testing and the guidance, the inner guidance, when we connect you to your higher self, we ask a bunch of questions and we find out all the stuff that's in the way. And we'll clear a bunch of traumas, limiting beliefs, a lot of subtle negative energy interference, like entities, contracts, oaths and vows, curses, all sorts of things that have been installed or inserted or implanted in our energetic field and grids. So I'll work at that multidimensional level, clearing that kind of unseen stuff that's really having a massive impact, and clearing the DNA and clearing the blueprints, so that we're not just clearing things emotionally and at the mental level, but we want to really clear all the energetic grid levels so that it doesn't keep reforming. So some of the work is very emotional and held, and some of it's very technical, like laser beam going in there and like clearing stuff. And I'm always working with source. So I'm always working directly back to ultimate true source. And people might come and they might have their own guides as well. They may have power animals that they want to work with that come into the room, but everything is done from the energy of pure source to make sure that we don't have any other interfering trickster kind of energies coming in. You're nodding, so
which they'll try.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
And one of the things I'm very passionate about is helping people with that side of things, because I think a lot of people, this is why I love working with other healers, and that's partly where my work seems to be taking me in that direction of specifically helping people and healers and coaches and therapists who want to go to the next level of their empowerment. Because what I'm noticing during these times is we're being asked to really step up into our gifts fully. And so much next level layer stuff is coming up. A lot of it is stuff that we think, hang on, I've done this work before. Why is this coming up? Why am I feeling blocked again? So this is completely normal and part of the process. And I've had to figure out these missing pieces for myself, which is why I'm so passionate about helping other healers with this stuff, because we can get so slowed down and bogged down, and we're carrying so much for everyone else, and it's exhausting. And there's so much, we're literally birthing a new world, like literally. And so do not underestimate the power of doing this conscious work. Each one of us that's doing this is creating a whole new reality. So there's that side of the work. And the other side is very much about conscious manifestation. And I've been having so much fun figuring out, I call it the simulation. It's not just me, but when I say that, I don't mean to say that this reality isn't real, but there's so many multiple realities happening at the same time, and
Yes.
we can really go in there and choose which version we want to play with, and the rules. We get to choose the rules. And so I was shown how to do this, and I'm like, oh my God, like there's so much to explore here. So that's also part of the work. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
It absolutely does make sense. I'm friends, associates with Oberon Zell Ravenheart, who is a co-founder of the Church of All Worlds here in the United States. And his particular field of study, in which he is quite brilliant, is quantum consciousness, and how all times and spaces are simultaneously occurring, and only the pinpoint of where vertical meets horizontal, if you will, only that intersection is what we're experiencing right now as a human being, right? But if we are able to expand our consciousness, then we are able to access multiple times and spaces within that expansion, which is how you do the 5D work, that fifth dimension where you are connected into source. And as a priestess, I have for many, many years been activating my channel to be a conduit for the divine. And so for me, I understand deeply, intrinsically, how you are able to suspend the ego and be in that channel, right?
Completely. Yeah. And what happens is we have, lots of us have these transcendental experiences where we find ourselves in that place, and we can see how we can literally shift the time and space that we're experiencing, which is incredibly exciting. And we're learning, so many more of us are learning this. Like, I feel like this is part of the evolution of the species. I believe we're all capable of doing this. And so more and more of us are sort of waking up to this and having the direct experience, not just the intellectual understanding. And this is where the emotional piece work and the interference piece work is so important, because there's a lot of energies out there that potentially don't fully want us fully empowered and sovereign, because they themselves too are going on their sovereignty journey, and they're still working through their stuff. And I believe we're all facets of one being. So in a way, from a source point of view, these are all different parts of source that are needing healing and integration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're healing source through each one of us, is one way to look at it. So,
or for sure informing source of how they can serve us better, because there's no way really for source in its infinite wisdom and the words aren't even there to describe the enormity of that, right? Has no real frame of reference on what being human is like. And so as we go through our process, both the good and the bad of that process, we are informing source what it's like to be human.
I love that.
To be imperfect, right?
Yes, source is experiencing this aspect of itself through us, and it can't possibly know it until we aspects of it are embodying it. And this is where I love the fact that we can't get it wrong. It's like there's no wrong point of this journey. It's like it's all of it. That's what it means to embrace the humanity of it all, which can be very reassuring and a bit mind-boggling.
Well, all of that,
all of the above. But you really can't. Am I allowed to swear on this channel?
Oh, sure.
You really can't fuck it up is one of my fond mantras, and I often need to just say it out loud to remind myself too, because we're literally just source experiencing itself. Like, have the journey, have the experience. You know, I don't take it too seriously. Sometimes it can get a bit like, oh my God, where am I on this journey? And I haven't
what is happening
here yet. And it's like, it's okay. Where you are is where you're
Well, that's where those time jumps come in too, you know, where you've been trying to figure out a way, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're on the other side of it. That's happening in the quantum, where you're able to go in and inform source directly of your desire to create, to co-create this new point up on your timeline, right? And then you just the knowledge, wisdom, connections with other people, opportunities, synchronicities begin to boom, 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 happen, and zoom, you're off and running.
Yes, yes. And one thing I've observed that can happen, and I'm just going to voice this in case people are feeling this, is we can have this massive zoom and kind of quantum leap, and then we might appear to bounce back, or like a boomerang effect. And what's happening is that there's parts of our psyche that need to come with the rest of us. It's like different ages of us might still be stuck on other timelines. And that's just because they haven't, they were dissociated until now, and they just need to come with us. So that's also part of the journey as well, that is needs a lot of love. And,
that particular piece, for some who may have heard the term, is called soul retrieval. Where pieces of your essence have fled the human body during traumatic events. And you can work with those pieces to be in recognition in the present that the circumstances that created that departure are no longer valid or present in the now. And then inviting those pieces back into your wholeness to be integrated. Healing your inner child. That's like really a trendy, like go-to thing to say in the spiritual community. But I had a profound inner child healing a couple of summers ago. And it time jumped me a lot. And cleared up a lot of different kinds of self-sabotaging thoughts and behaviors, like several layers of imposter syndrome and some stuff like that sort of just went away after that. So
healing our inner children, I still think, is probably the most important piece of work that any of us can do.
Well, we come into this world as infants, completely 100% dialed in, right? And then the conditioning begins to occur. And even in the best of circumstances, we are being molded into what someone else wants us to be, right? But if we're abused or traumatized, or we are homeless or hungry, or suffer illnesses or disabilities, then retrieving those pieces requires more diligent effort on our part to come into vulnerability, which is the worst thing ever, because the last time we were vulnerable, it did not pay well.
Yes.
And that's where the work is, right? It's to create a relationship with your client or group that provides a container of trust.
Trust,
for them
and
to invite
safety.
those scared pieces back into themselves and know that they will be okay there.
100%. That's the most precious work. To be witnessed by another as well is just so healing, by another truly safe, loving person, so to kind of reparent that experience. And then also in a group, to be witnessed in that way, in a new way from how we've been traumatized before, is amazing. And it's such an important part of.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that we've gotten away from, but we really need to get back to in this new earth culture, is the idea of tribal or communal interconnectivity, right? We spend all day thinking that we've got all these friends and we're, like all this stuff, but we're just scrolling through and we're not making deep human connection on social media, especially, which is not to bash completely, because here we are on social media.
Here we are having an amazing deep conversation. So we can use any medium, but I hear you. It's like recognizing that genuine deep need for connection is the most important need we have.
The whole reason that this exists is because people were dying to be seen and heard. If there wasn't that desire, then Facebook would not be a thing, right?
Yes. And unfortunately, what happens can be a re-traumatization of, we seek that connection and then we get traumatized again because we don't get the quality and depth of connection we really need. So
we're looking for that dopamine hit, and it's just not there for us.
But I do think that what that's going to end up doing is prompt more and more people to go deeper in their connections. Actually, the more dissatisfied we are, the more it's going to prompt that okay, how am I going to get this real connection? How am I going to be real, first of all, with myself and others,
Right.
so I can have that real connection? Because actually it cannot happen if we're not fully being real with
Right.
ourselves.
Owning our own shit.
Yeah. So it all comes back to that. It's quite a simple recipe, really. Own your
Yes.
shit, be witness,
Own your shit.
with a
Get
safe
on with it.
person,
Right.
and then you can travel all dimensions and star
Right.
systems and timelines.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that piece of you knows exactly how to do that. And it's only the disconnection from that piece of us that keeps us
Yeah.
from doing it, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I tell people sometimes who may come from a Christian background or maybe a little confused about what I do, is that I truly believe that Christ lived and was ultimately crucified for the fact that he preached, I am, that we are intrinsically God manifested in human form, and that in the true trust and belief and surrender of that, we don't need an intercessor like the church to be that middleman between us and Creator. And of course, the structures that were in place at the time, much like the structures that are in place now, we're having none of that. Then it was easy enough to put one man on a cross and hope to end a movement, which went horribly wrong. We'll just throw that out there, because he was ushering in the age of Pisces, right? I'm certain that mystics and astrologers of their day tried to warn them, but they didn't listen because the power to them was too delicious, right? And we're seeing that happen now. The more we awaken as this 5D consciousness, as this new earth, into this new earth paradigm that we're creating, the more we will see people who are stuck in that old energy fighting it tooth and nail. That's why we have religious division, political division, isolationism, and all of these other things happening right now. Is it's that tug of war, you know?
Yeah, feeling full body tingles when you say that. Yeah.
But honestly, there is no stopping it. It's an evolutionary process.
An evolutionary process. It's part of the process, just like we battle ourselves on our journey individually. Right. Again, it's happening at a bigger level. I always find it so helpful to just use it as an analogy. What happens inside me all the time? I've got all these parts of me at war with myself, battling myself all the time. And if I can stop and listen and be my own best mediator to the table, I can bring a lot of healing. And I just think it's inevitable what's happening collectively, and it's part of our journey. And the more of us, we're all connected, the more of us are really present in a particular way and conscious to our own experience, the more this is going to ripple out there. I don't think that's just magical thinking. I think
it's
that's
just a perfect example of a fulcrum in action, right? Once we get enough weight on the tilt side, zoom.
I see the tipping point's already been met. I think it just seems we're definitely met the tipping point.
Yeah, I read something somewhere that said it only takes 70 million of us working toward a single purpose in order to begin manifesting it into reality.
Interesting.
And that's one of the reasons why Facebook, God help us, is a perfect tool for this evolutionary process.
Totally.
Because we are gathering people who are either on the path or who are awakening to this evolution, who need guidance and a mirror for what they're experiencing, right? So I think that much as the evolution of man has become an exponential growth cycle, the fulcrum, the tipping of the fulcrum is rapidly, exponentially coming. People say, oh, we don't have enough time to change this, to do that. And I'm like, no, we're here already. It's changing.
We're here. It's already here. Like the new earth is here. I feel it. I know it. I touch it. It's literally here. And what I feel is like the more of us, as I say, when we're embodying what we're talking about,
Yeah.
like we're landing it in our physical bodies. It's already here. The potential. Again, there is no time.
Right.
We're not running out of time. It's here.
Yeah.
You just gotta just know the tools to land it, and we are landing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Wonderful.
hear you. I love it. And by the way, you're very eloquent. I love hearing
thank
you
you.
talk, like the way you use words and put it all together.
One of my medicines or modalities, I suppose, is storytelling. When I found my path in 1989, it was only maybe a year or two before I was designing full ceremonies. My channel was super strong. I was raised by hippies, and we camped on vacation, and I was listening to Iron Butterfly and Moody Blues when I was a child, and my parents would have parties in the family room where the door was locked, and they'd open the door and smoke would come rolling out. That's the household I grew up in. So when I found myself leaning toward or becoming aware of this alternative path, it was like the perfect fit for my soul, right? Now that's not to say that my channel has always been crystal clear, that I haven't participated in some self-sabotaging behaviors because of my own experiences and trauma, but the thing that I have noticed over time is that whenever I come to a place of utter discomfort because of that separation, then nothing else will move forward until I've scrambled all the eggs.
Yeah.
That is the moment where I am the most bereft and the most activated to change, right?
I'm getting a yawn yes on that. That's my body yes. I love that.
Yeah.
So totally agree with that.
I think that, a lot of people come to that moment of ultimate dissatisfaction, but they don't have any tools to jumpstart that drastic change, that flip, if you will.
Yeah. And a lot of people are seeking right now. Yeah, they know that they
which is why programs like this and people like us, not to sound big-headed, but it's so important right now.
Yeah, it is, and it's about being able to show up on our path, because we have been traveling this path. And it's not hierarchical. It's just a question of how much time we've been spending experiencing all this and going deep into it, right? And so I totally hear you. Like I've been inspired by people I've listened to that I really needed to hear at key points in time that helped me navigate my path. Who knows who's going to listen to this and have an aha that's going to facilitate them. So it's part of the medicine, I think, right now.
Even if no one ever reaches out to either one of us as a mentor or a guide for their process, if it sparks something within them that illuminates the next step on the path, then we're here doing what we were called to do.
And actually, even if people are going to watch this, but even if people didn't watch this, it's like just the vibration of us having this conversation is already rippling out into the collective. Is a really strong feeling I have about.
Oh no, I'm a total believer in the collective consciousness. I actually did a shamanic journey. I have a lot of modalities that I work with too after 40 years or whatever. And I just did a shamanic journey where I lay down in a stream and allowed myself to go under, and then I had this vision of being a single drop of water flowing with the stream to the ocean, and then evaporating into the clouds, and then falling again as a drop of rain. And my first takeaway from that was, don't take it all so damn seriously. You're only one drop in an ocean, right? But also on the flip side of that, that each drop, as it adds to the ocean or the ecosystem of what's happening, does make a ripple, right?
And it makes an ocean, literally. Like without the drop, there is no ocean.
When it enters the ocean, though, it makes rings, just like you throw a stone in a pond, right? That vibration is carried throughout the collective. So yeah, it's good work and we're going to keep doing it.
Yay. Fantastic.
So is there anyone right now or that you are following or hot for, or any kind of reading materials that are sparking new interest for you?
Oh, good question. A lot of the stuff that I'm really into lately is conscious relationship. I also work with couples, and it's just the work I do for myself and in my intimate relationship. So there's an amazing couple that I'm following on relationships that I highly recommend, and they just come out with a new book called Playing with Fire. And it's Justin Patrick Pierce and London Winters are the authors. So Pierce and Winters, they've got a couple of books, and this is the latest one that I'm reading. And it's just so profound. And I just love how they bring together the human side of embracing all of who we are in a really conscious and intentional and spiritual practice. So that's just the first thing that came into my head when you asked me that question. I didn't have a prepared answer for you. Another person that I love following is Matt Kahn. I love his transmissions. Do you know him?
K-A-H-N.
K-A-H-N.
I'll have to look him up. Wrong. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with his work.
Oh, he's beautiful. He's just got such a beautiful heart. He's got some beautiful books. I love his transmissions are deceptively simple, but actually very, very profound. But yeah, there's too many people. Too many people to mention, really.
I know. I don't even read fiction anymore. With what little time I have to read or to watch a screen. I'm watching documentaries, I'm watching free master classes, I'm reading books on shamanism and, astral travel and meditation magazine. And actually, it's funny you should mention that, because I just about 3 weeks ago took a 5-day free masterclass on different modalities of spiritual work. And some of them, some of it included like breath work and working with plant medicines. But on day one, they talked about partnership as path, and about how honoring your partner can be, should be a sacred act, and that coming into that awareness is a real game changer for people who are struggling with interpersonal relationships, whether that is friendships, whether it's parent-child relationships, whether it is love relationships.
To be honest, I don't know a human who doesn't struggle with interpersonal relationships, and there's different degrees of struggle.
Sure.
But we just haven't been modeled mostly how to do this in a really conscious way yet. Right. I think we're really figuring it out.
One of my medicines in particular is sacred sexuality. And so especially in love relationships, being able to kneel at the altar of your partner changes profoundly the dynamic of the relationship between two people.
I love that.
Or three, or whatever you got going.
Or however many, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
But in however many there are, there's always that, when we have that one person in front of us.
Yes.
Yeah, what you're talking about is beautiful. It's so important. I love how you put that, the altar to the other, the altar to ourselves, and how we sit to the altar of our partner.
Yeah.
And our partners are our best triggers. There's nobody that comes quite as close.
No one will show us your shit. No one will show us
your shit to that degree. Exactly. And so it's an incredible challenge, and it's an incredible gift and opportunity, because you can supercharge your growth in healing and evolution with a partner. And if your partner is willing to do it consciously with you, wow, like what a gift.
Yeah.
And then you're not re-traumatizing each other. You're actually like being a team together for this relationship. So as opposed to like, you're the enemy that I have to figure
entity out. That has its own life.
Yes, absolutely. It has its own life. And I think conscious partnership, whether it's with an intimate partner, with friends, with your tribe, with your children, is the game changer on the planet right now. Because when we're healing our relationships, we talked about healing ourselves earlier, but actually in that we're healing our relationships. It's like, that's how we change the structures of our society. It's in in how we deal with our relationships.
Well, we
really.
become more understanding and more compassionate and less easily triggered when we come into a place of treating relationship as a part of our healing process, right?
Yeah. I love that. I love this work. I'm just so grateful to be alive during these times.
I know.
Because we have such wealth of wisdom. Like so many people, like you said, the internet has brought so many people's wisdoms accessible to everyone.
Mhm.
Before, you had to spend your whole life following one teacher up in the Himalayas somewhere, or wherever you ended
Right.
up being, and go really deep with that one person, which is amazing. But now you get to access so much, and you can do that in the context of whatever job you're
Sure.
doing on the planet.
Well,
And
because I started to practice in
amazing.
1989, I spent the first 20 years of my practice for sure, like buying one book at a time and one tarot deck at a time, and like going to one festival at a time and trying to sit and experience as many other people's modalities as possible. But the growth was, although continual, was slow.
It was a different era that we were in at this time.
And
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, all of those pieces are who I am now, so that's fine. But yeah, just access to information over the last 15 or 20 years of my journey has been a game changer.
Yeah.
Not to mention the people who are new on that path and have all of this available to them.
And they're piggybacking on the energy, don't forget, of everyone that's done the slow, difficult work. So the change is quicker now because that's part of how the awakening works. The quickening is happening.
Yes.
But that's also because of everyone that's come before now that has held space. Our ancestors before that.
Well, and as those founders begin to transition, they'll be helping us from the other side as well, because they understand the enormity of what we're facing.
Totally.
Uniquely, because they've been human and now they're going to go back into non-human form, right?
That's the secret, isn't it? Navigating all of it.
Yeah.
And that's very much part of what I do, is integrating many different perspectives. That's sort of, I think, one of my gifts. And so what I love doing is teaching people how to bring together all the bits that they've learned along the way and how to make it into like a comprehensive like process for themselves when they're working, and really activate their unique gifts, because each one of us is that unique drop, and we need each and every
drop to make the ocean. Yeah, absolutely. So you obviously are engaging in Facebook. What other kinds of platforms should people look for you on?
Facebook is the main one I'm on these days. I do have a bit of an Instagram as well that I keep meaning to be on more platforms, and that is part of my plan for 2023 is more of that. But Facebook is mainly where people can find me for now, and that's probably the safest place to go. I've got a free group that I've just started, a new free group based on this kind of new excitement about really wanting to bring together people that are here to create the new earth. So I've called it New Earth Activators. I think you may have joined
I'm
it.
pretty sure
I think
I'm
that's how we.
If not, I'll find it yet today. But
but it's still new. It's still the beginnings of it, and my vision is to start a podcast connected to it. So I definitely will be both interviewing people as well as sort of showcasing my work on there. And my excitement is to really build up this sense of how to bridge being a human and being divine at these times where we are bridging to the new earth. So I want to bring in some inspiration and some reflections and depth around that topic. So Facebook really is still the best place to find me at the moment. And in terms of the things I'm getting involved with, am I jumping the gun to your next
No, go ahead.
question? There's two things that I'm very excited about right now. One is a retreat that I've got going on in the Italian Alps in June, from the 19th to the 25th of June. For those who can come to Italy, it would be amazing. And this is in an unspoilt valley where I've grown up. I was brought up there in my mum's womb the very first time I went there. It's a very personal place for me. And it's a power place on the planet that nobody really knows about. It's sort of the best kept secret. And life is still to 500 years ago. There's no cars, there's no roads. You have to hike to get there.
Beautiful.
All the houses are wooden cabins, and you're in the middle of basically heaven on earth, paradise up there. So we're going to do some amazing new earth activating energetic processes, clearing our channels, clearing the group space of all the stuff we're carrying that is really weighing us down right now, that we're really struggling with, to really activate to the next level. So really excited about that. So I want to call in the right souls for this. There's only 6 places left at the moment. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
if people want to know, they can message me on Facebook and I can send them the info. And the other thing is my ongoing mastermind apprenticeship that I'm opening the doors to again imminently, which is where I teach people basically all the stuff I know about energy work, everything I've ever learned on this journey, the psychology side, the energy work side, the healing side. And I do supervision of cases. I offer supervision of cases for people with their clients that are really tricky to work with.
Right.
And we do healing work of all our shadow wounded healer stuff that's coming up so that we can become fully sovereign. So it's the program that I wished I'd had, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's got
Yeah,
the teaching,
absolutely.
the supervision, and the healing. Because I think we can't do what we do without the right healing support and the peer-to-peer support,
Right.
as well as being constantly, like you talked about, wanting to go to the next masterclass, like wanting to learn the next thing. It's like bringing it all together.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Now that you've brought that back up again, my shadow work this winter was trying to get rid of that last piece of the imposter syndrome that was standing in my way. And what I discovered is that all of those people I was following and groups that I was part of and master classes that I was taking were actually muddying the waters of what my medicine was trying to show me.
That can be very
and
common.
so I stopped, which is not to say I stopped totally social media, but I went through and I culled over half of the groups that I was in, and I used to promptly engage with certain leaders in the spiritual community anytime I saw their stuff on Facebook, liking everything, commenting on everything. But what they did was narrow my algorithm into a place where I was only seeing those people and their offers. And because we do each have our own gifts and medicines to offer the world, when we become too focused on those behaviors that are being mirrored to us as important to our own journey or pivotal to our own journey, we're actually doing a disservice to ourselves and our truest calling, because we don't need another one of them.
Yeah.
We need a fully present or you,
100%.
right? In order to offer the gifts that we were brought here to share with the world.
Yes. Shout it louder for those in the back.
That was a hard one. And I mean, honestly, I just paid a ton of money for a mentorship program that taught me some stuff, but not what I paid for. So
and this is unfortunately quite a common, I think, story for many people on this path. So it needs to be talked about. And that's what I'm really passionate about, is empowering people to become fully who they really are in the first place.
Yeah.
So that they're channeling their medicine. So, they don't need to come to my mastermind. They can do it on their own. And I love creating a space that feels really safe, where they can really peel back all the stuff that's not really who they are and just come into their fullness. And then their magic activates.
Yeah, one of the things that experience was good for was showing me what was possible.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
So I can't say that it was a waste of time or money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not angry about it or anything. But it created different awarenesses than I had anticipated when I entered the program. So it's all fine, for everyone who is out there, we are going to be dropping links in the comments where you can reach out to Sabrina and find more about an amazing trip to Italy. Wish I could go. And also about her group work and her mastermind work as well.
Thank you.
Then, is there any other thing that we have not covered? Because we are a bit over time.
I think we did an amazing we did an amazing job of covering so many things. I loved our conversation. Wonderful. And I love how aligned we are, actually, because we just cross paths. We don't know each other.
Yeah, not a bit.
It's amazing how I really felt when I was talking that you really got me, that you really from the inside, the journey. I think it sounds like we've got a similar understanding of things,
We
which,
are
it's
all
perfectly
one.
fine not to, of course. But it's just lovely to be gotten and heard and to be able to share this.
Sure.
And again, it's like, it's so important to not feel alone during these times. That's all I can say is my conclusion to this conversation. I just think I couldn't survive without my various group of peers that I have, where I
Yeah,
have conversations
absolutely.
like this all the time. I don't know how anyone else survives without that personally. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the one piece we can of advice we can both give today
yeah,
is I if you're new on this path, or even if you're old on this path and
wherever you are on it.
you got into maybe a habit of isolation because of the shutdown or something, get out and bump elbows with people and
Yes, and
find like-minded
ask
people and
source to bring you the right people. If you're feeling burnt by some experiences you've had, connect with your higher self. And I have fairies that I send out to bring me the right people.
lovely.
Ask for help and you will receive, and you're worthy of that. And
Yeah.
I just think that's the most precious thing during these times. It's so easy to get bogged down, and just having a conversation like this with you, that's really like inspired me and activated me. And I'm already,
It'll fill my spirit for the rest
yeah,
of the day. I will
yeah.
be
Thank
all
you,
happy and
Maria.
bubbly. I gotta go wait on some people later. I still piddle in the restaurant business, and so when I wait tables later, I'll be all zen
Oh,
down,
well, they're lucky to have you waiting on
very
them. That's
friendly, and
amazing.
people are always like, you just seem very calm and relaxed. And I was like, well, it takes practice, but
Yeah, you have no idea what I'm doing in the background.
exactly. I'm like, yeah, because I'm living the dream here, waiting these tables, and but no, whatever it takes, whatever's part of the process. I worked a desk job that paid more, but I had less connection with other people, and it was miserable. So I need to be connected to other people to be living this life. And I think that is true for everyone, even the people who think that they hate people and they don't want anything to do with, like,
what
they
really
need it more than anybody.
they need the right kind of safe relationships. That's what those kind of people need.
Yeah,
We all need
absolutely.
relationship, actually. It's just the quality of it that
Well, and the more you value yourself as a gift, as a child of God, the more you are able to make a stand for yourself, not against other people, right? But just like, nope, I'm stepping left on that because this isn't where I want to be. It's not the energy I want to embody. Love to you. I'll be over here by myself, finding new friends that are embodying love. So yeah.
Wise words.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Maria.
For everyone out there, the recording will be up live any moment now. And then about 6 weeks from now, this will appear on my YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't gone to my YouTube channel yet, go to Witchy Wednesdays at 1 on YouTube and subscribe, share, like, comment. Share this video out on Facebook to everyone you know who might benefit from our conversation and from these energetics. Thank you so much for joining us all today. Next week on Witchy Wednesday, I am going to be making a special announcement of a new offering that is truly my unique medicine. And I will be sharing that with the world on Saturday as a live announcement on the Facebook page at 6 p.m. And then next week on Witchy Wednesdays, I'll tell you guys all about it. So
very exciting.
In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us today. Until next week, this is Maria Shell saying thank you for watching Witchy Wednesdays at 1. I love you all like mad. I'll see you around the sacred fire. Have a great day.
Lots of love, everyone.